Who's on the Lord's side? Who? This is the time to show. This was a hymn I sung growing up in Mormonism, and this morning I was thinking about it, probably because I was reading this incredible book called An Indigenous People's History of the United States, which is actually much more significant than just the history of the United States, because Roxanne Dunbar Ortiz does an amazing job of outlining how like the forces of settler colonialism were shaping Europe long before they ever came to the United States to affect the North and South American continents and the indigenous peoples there. And she talks about like these forces that displaced people in Scotland, in Spain, in Portugal, in the Middle East with the Turks and the Muslims through the Crusades. Talks about the displacement and disenfranchisement of the Irish, and how all of these were like prototypal settler colonialist movements that were then exported over to become the African slave trade and then the enslavement and exploitation of indigenous peoples in the Americas. So an incredible book. Really, really need to read it. Everyone should read it. You need to re-educate yourself from the propagandistic education that you got as a kid. And this is very concise. Like, look, it's not even that long. It's a very concise way to start doing that re-education. And it brought up this hymn for me, and how like I was conditioned really heavily with this militaristic idea that I was some kind of soldier and that I had to go and fight and that I was always fighting, that my existence began with a premortal fight in heaven, and that we imported that war here, and I was continuing it on by like being a soldier for God here, and that he was some kind of king that was amassing this power, and it was a sign of his beneficence and approval if you were very wealthy and very powerful, because that's what God wanted for you, was to be powerful and wealthy. And this whole thing, like, it's prosperity gospel, it's just all kinds of messed up. And this cocktail of things this morning had me remembering this hymn and thinking, like, none of us should be on this side. None of us should be on the side of a being that treats us like chattel, like things, like objects, like we're in servitude. This feudalistic God is just total BS. And we should all be standing up and saying, like Treebeard does, like, no one, I'm not on anybody's side, because he's not on my side, because nobody's on my side, you know. And this is separate from the Jesus of the New Testament. Plenty of good stuff from him. Not everything is great, but lots of good stuff there, but not this.